Shall we? So before I get into these around 50 screenshots providing evidence and context for anything that I have said, I do want to reiterate something just for even more context. I met Harry in summer of 2020. We were both kind of like the original political TikTokers, and we were on the Dem High Pass, which was a huge political TikTok account. Our relationship has always been friend-based. However, when I did go to Jersey to visit my aunt, he has a summer house there, so we did hook up a couple times. So it was kind of like friends with benefits, but it was kind of established that if we saw each other in person, we'd probably hook up. But our conversations outside of seeing each other in person or whatever were never really like flirty or anything like that. So I was never under any sort of impression that we were exclusive ever.
I've been trying to figure out how I want to word a video regarding this, but I think what I'm going to just say is I've never been the woman that has called out behavior like this. I've never been one of these people, and if you have been, props to you, because I don't think anybody could comprehend how genuinely terrifying it is to do something like this. Yeah. I really, send me how you stop having fucking palpitations.
I got played by a TikTok influencer for 9 months, and I think it's time that I expose his trashy ass behavior. We started talking in May of last year, right before my birthday, and he like wooed me. He was very kind. I felt really excited and thankful that I found somebody who, at the time, I thought respected me for more than my physical appearance.
Live, don't read on live. Yeah, I saw about this. Like actually lunatics. Like genuinely, they are. This individual in question is insane.
Wait, who is that?
And so. I'll say, yeah, I can share with Chris. I'll send a screenshot. Yeah, no, like legitimately, Chris and I have been talking about this for days now.
Uh-oh.
This individual
Wait,
is
who?
fucking crazy.
Wait,
bro.
what?
If you want to support the live,
bro, that bro.
Mentors. I'm saying, dude. I am saying.
No, you be good out there, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You be safe.
That's what. That's also. What
He
I'm
said.
saying,
That's what he
Virgo.
said. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story that is going viral online. A story that I thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to talk about it. But I think I do want to talk about it because I think a lot of this story that we're about to talk about here is BS, okay? But not for the reasons that most people think that this story may be BS. I think that this is a full-blown Democrat Party psyop involving Harry Sisson, okay, who's currently being canceled for having a roster of 11 women, aka he's being canceled because as a so-called male feminist, okay, at least according to the story, he is a playboy, okay? He has a roster and rotation of 11 women, okay? He's went full-blown Andrew Tate, okay? And now he's been exposed as quote-unquote straight, right? Because there's speculation that Harry Sisson, who is a Democrat Party influencer, a Gen Z male influencer, is gay, right? There's speculation. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying that he is. That's just what the rumors are, right? That he's not straight. So there you have this story coming out where all of a sudden he has these women who are coming out the closet and telling their story about how toxically masculine Harry Sisson is and how he's such a playboy, right? And again, I want to talk about this because I smell BS. I think that this is propaganda, okay? I think that this is a psyop. So without further ado, I want to play a summary clip here from The Hill to give you guys a general idea of some of the allegations against Harry from these women. And then I'm going to get into a reaction from some influencers online and then go from there. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Democratic influencer Harry Sisson is feeling the heat on social media, but is it warranted? I actually say no. We'll get to that. Republican State Delegate and Precinct Chair Sarah Fields has written a thread on social media about Sisson that went very viral yesterday. In it, she discusses Sisson being accused of luring 11 women into sending him explicit photos and lying to them by saying he had no roster, I guess, of attractive women he was talking to. Fields alleges that one of these women was a domestic abuse survivor, although, again, what the relevance of that is anyone's guess. Fields writes, a request to the reader set political differences to the side. I believe both sides of the aisle can agree that this is unacceptable behavior from a man-child with collectively over 2 million followers.
Fields gathered footage of some of the women speaking out and summarized their sentiments.
In one instance, a woman named Carly said that Harry wooed her from the very beginning and conceded to sharing explicit photos with him. After 6 months, Carly says Harry called it off. Carly said Sisson should have made his intentions more clear since he allegedly told her she was wifey material and that he was sold on her wifey application. Carly also says she was dealing with depression after a traumatic car accident and that Harry allegedly pounced and took advantage of her sadness. Carly said, I'm fighting for accountability, not only for myself, but on behalf of everyone who believed this guy was someone he's not. Fields also mentions a woman named Sarah. Sisson allegedly told Sarah she was the only one he was talking to. Per Fields, Sarah allegedly shared explicit photos of herself as well. Other women came forward sharing similar stories. One woman named Hannah said she knew Sisson since they were young and that he is allegedly predatory and manipulative. It's just rumor mongering at this point. Go ahead, Marianne.
Fields ended her thread by writing, I do not condone the behavior of these women, but I do know what it feels like to be manipulated by a narcissist when I was younger.
Plenty of reactions on social media. Podcaster Josie Glabeck, known as the redheaded libertarian, wrote on X, wait, you're telling me that Harry Sisson is a textbook male feminist who preys on vulnerable women? No way. Media company Being Libertarian wrote on X, Harry Sisson is a bad person, but this isn't a scandal. It's the culmination of what every parent should be warning girls when they get a cell phone, don't talk to liberals. So, as you could probably tell by my editorializing as I was reading, I saw this brewing on social media and suggested we talk about it. Harry Sisson is as far from me in terms of ideology or activist behavior as one could possibly be, but I like to defend people even when I don't agree with them if I think they're being unfairly smeared. And these accusations are complete SHIT, and it is laughable to me that he talked to a couple different women, and he told that you're the one, but he was talking to some other. Wow, alert the media.
It never happened.
Let the crime, burn him at the stake, get the pitchforks and lighter fluid. It is insane that people thought this was a story. It is the biggest controversy of all time.
But then we're...
Yeah, see, now you heard that, okay? Harry Sisson, apparently Andrew Tate Jr. here, right? A Democrat influencer, a liberal Gen Z influencer, Andrew Tate Jr. He's manipulative, okay? He's predatory, right? He's playing these women. He got them in their rotation. He's lying to them, being deceptive, okay? Kicking all type of game, right? Like, that's the narrative that is coming out of this story. Almost as if this is what Harry wanted, right? Which I personally believe. And that's why I think that all of this is a psyop. So I'm going to explain exactly what I mean and what I'm talking about here in this video, in which I'm going to react to Jack Mack, who's going to cover this story and go from there. So without further ado, let's get into it.
What may be the upset of 2025, the internet's favorite Democrat, Harry Sisson, is being canceled for having a roster of women and not telling any of them. And although this may be Harry's first true controversy among his fellow beloved leftists, the entire internet does now have to acknowledge that this man has some game. So recently, Harry has been posting with this girl. Fully appears that Harry's in a relationship, shaking his head at the haters, I would assume. But yeah, it seems like he's in love.
Yeah, so this right here, this video right here is what made my spider senses tingle on this story, right? Because this video came out just a little bit before these accusations came out, right? Of Harry having this rotation of women, okay? The dude has a harem, apparently, okay? This is the narrative being pushed out here, okay? So this dude is basically dropping Snapchats or TikToks of him with some mystery girl, okay, in his lap. He says, God, that ass is fat. It's almost as if this dude is trying to prove that he's straight, right? That's kind of what it feels like to me, right? This almost feels forced, okay? This reminds me of the play from Shannon Sharpe, right? I told you guys, I didn't do a whole video about this, but I mentioned this in another video I did about Shannon Sharpe. I think it was a video that he did when he was interviewing Kamala Harris. I said, Shannon Sharpe, this is the same guy that has similar allegations that, hey, he might not be straight, that he might be gay because of the way that he carries himself, okay? I mean, Shannon Sharpe, he got a little sass to him, right? And he went live on Instagram and he was having sex live on Instagram. Now, he wasn't actually in the live, right? But you could hear the moans and the sounds. And then he comes out and say, oh, well, that was on accident, right? Somebody hacked my Instagram and went live as I'm clapping cheeks, right? That just happened on accident. I'm like, no, that didn't happen on accident. You did that on purpose. That was 100% staged. Why was it staged? It was staged to beat the accusations that Shannon Sharpe might be gay, right? So I've seen this play before, right? This is the oldest trick in the book. If people think that you're not straight, what you do is that you put something out there to push back against the allegations. And I believe that's what's happening here. Because the way people are talking about this, again, they're trying to make this dude, again, the next Andrew Tate, right? Like, this guy is some young player, right? He got game. Oh, he's playing all these women. Again, what would be the purpose of all this? Well, the purpose of all this, again, remember, this guy is a Democrat Party influencer. So you can't believe anything that he says. Anything he puts out online is propaganda for the Democrats. Well, why is this? It's because Democrats are struggling with young men. They're struggling with young men, okay? Clearly, the type of influencer that this guy was doing Biden's campaign and Kamala Harris's campaign, that didn't really work out, right? The whole I'm a male feminist thing. Turns out Democrats lost a lot of young males, okay, trying to push this imagery. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a part of an operation to transform his image into what Democrats see as a more attractive image for young males to resonate with when it comes to their paid propagandists, right? That's what I think this is. I'm almost entirely sure that this is what it is, right? I mean, this involves multiple Democrat Party influencers, right? The accusers, right? The victims, they're also Democrat Party influencers. Some of them, right? At least one of them. So again, this is a whole Democrat Party psyop, right? In my opinion, right? In my opinion.
Now, unfortunately, Harry made a grave mistake. He forgot to clean up after himself before he hard launched. And a bunch of women started to make TikToks about how they thought they were in relationships with Harry. It includes this woman, Diana. Obviously, these are all allegations. And then Carly, who has been posting about it a bunch. She posted this Snapchat where Harry said, I'd F you after wine tasting, but that's just me. James catches, puts up a 3, won't go. Rebound Bosch, back out to Allen, his 3, bang! Then this.
I can't believe it, man. This is such a psyop to me, bro. I'm so serious. I really believe this is a psyop. I mean, I'm reading some of the messages that this dude allegedly sent. I mean, the stuff that he's saying is like, come on, it's not even clever, right? I mean, people talk about, oh, he got game, he's a little playboy. And I'm like, bro, if 99% of dudes said what this man was saying in these text messages, they're not clapping any cheeks. Now, who knows? You know, I'm one of these guys that I personally believe that, you know, when it comes to quote unquote game, 99% of it is what you look like, right? So, you know, it doesn't really matter what you say, right? I'm just saying that what Harry was saying is not anything revolutionary, right? Again, it's not, you know, something where I'm like, oh man, he was really running some extravagant game on these girls. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm not saying he's not clapping any cheeks, okay? I'm just saying that first and foremost, this is not what we should be celebrating as quote-unquote masculine behavior, right? First and foremost, sleeping around with a lot of girls or getting nudes or whatever. I don't see that as the definition of masculine behavior, but I'm just saying that I think if he did do this, if all this is true, then the reason why it's coming out is because it's coordinated, right? It's coordinated to give this man a certain image, a certain brand, okay, to appeal to young men, okay? Because unfortunately, that is how a lot of young men see masculinity. Oh, well, you got to have a bunch of girls and you got to have a rotation, you know, and you got to be clapping cheeks. And it's like, yeah, that's how young men think. And I personally believe that, again, this is a part of a bigger operation here.
user, American Hannah, also described herself as a victim of Harry. I don't want to downplay emotional damage and emotional manipulation, but I do want to make it clear there's no accusations of crime against Harry. The number one thing he did wrong, it appears, was being the effing man. People have even started to make fan edits of all of his Snapchats. In total, it said Harry had a roster of over 11 women. Okay, bro. Harry's response to this hasn't been great. He hasn't apologized yet. There's a clip going around where he calls some of these individuals lunatics, which is something I would not recommend you doing in this instance. My first reaction to all of this was, wow, didn't know he was into women. My second reaction was, okay, this guy has, 2 million followers on TikTok? That's some big clout for being a 19-year-old. My second reaction was, okay, 2 million on TikTok. He's an influencer. Yeah, of course, he has a roster of women. However, if you're going to take this political stance, which he often does, which is he's kind of a, the voice for women, he's a male feminist, you can't be doing this. Third is, wow, the Democrats have finally found their match for the Nelk boys. Harry is an F-boy. But then I thought this may be a psyop because the Democrats may have sat down and said, okay, how do we appeal to younger men more? All right, let's take one of our top tier influencers and just have him be exposed for sleeping with a bunch of women, which I don't even know if he did. It seems like more he was just on Snapchat, which is all the kids use these days. Anyways, yeah, I had a lot of fun making this.
Yeah. I think that theory about it being a psyop is likely what's happening here. Again, that's not to say that, he wasn't playing these women or whatever. I'm not saying he wasn't. I don't know. I personally don't care. I just feel like he's getting the exact type of attention that he wants out of this. And you have some people, including conservatives, trying to take the angle of, well, this guy is supposed to be a male feminist, but yeah, he's playing these women. He's being toxically masculine. And it's like, nah, bro, don't give him that clout, right? Don't give him that W, bro. Don't do that, okay? No. That's not the angle. The angle here is that, okay, it may or may not be true, but he's just trying to beat the gay allegations. That's what's going on here, right? It's either that or, again, the Democrats are trying to rebrand the image of their influencers in order to attract young men. That's exactly what's going on here, right? This is a political operation. All of these news outlets are running with this silly story for a reason. There's a reason why, because this is not a story, okay? Let's be real. He sleeps around, okay? I mean, hey, but a lot of people are reacting to this by saying, well, I didn't know he was straight. Oh, surprise, he came out as straight. And it's like, that's what he wants, right? That's exactly what he wants. And to me, I'm actually more skeptical. I have more questions about Harry. I never accused him of being gay, but I'm just saying, the fact is that if this story was put out here to beat the gay allegations, right? To say, hey, you know what? I'm not gay. See, look at all these women I'm playing, right? If it was put out for that reason, then I got more questions. Just like I got more questions about Shannon Sharpe. Because if you are a straight man, okay, and you are comfortable with your sexuality, it doesn't matter how many people accuse you of being gay. Okay, I've been accused of all types of stuff. But, I know who I am. I know what I like. And, hey, the haters can kick rocks, but I'm not going to put things out here to prove that, hey, I like women, right? Like, look at my girlfriend, right? Nah, like, I just think when people are facing, again, the allegations about their sexuality, and then they start forcing out these type of stories, right? They start staging things. Again, like, I'm 100% sure Shannon Sharpe staged what he did, right? And with this story, I'm probably about 70, 80% sure. When you have to start putting out stuff like that in order to prove that you're straight, it just makes me question you even more, right? And again, I wasn't even taking the allegations against Shannon Sharpe and Harry Sisson seriously, right? I was like, okay, well, it's just internet stuff. But when they put out stuff like this, it's like, all right, now I got to start taking it serious, right? Now I got to really start thinking about some of these people, okay, and what they're into. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.